A businessman might be holding onto his briefcase, and he might be thinking about the business papers inside of his briefcase. Then he might put the briefcase down and walk away from it. But he cannot leave the briefcase. He can't take a break or go on vacation because he is still thinking about the business papers inside of the briefcase. He is still holding onto the briefcase with his mind. So he cannot relax or enjoy life because the business papers dominate his thoughts all the time. Many people are just like the businessman because they are always holding on to something with their minds. They are holding on to troubles, problems, the past, or their goals. And because they are constantly holding on to something in a mental way, they are dominated by their thoughts. They cannot take a break. They are always tense, so they become upset and nervous very easily. In order to avoid this problem, it's important to stay mentally and emotionally in touch with each moment and fully experience everything you do. Give your complete attention to one thing at a time. Pay attention to where you are focusing your attention. When you practice focusing your total attention on what you are doing, you are improving your mental control. You will then have mental flexibility, and you will be able to hold what you want in your mind or take a break whenever you want. It's also important to have a variety of interests with which you can become involved. These interests should take your full attention. This will help you to escape your routine duties, pressures, and problems. Another serious problem occurs when people constantly hold on to negative thinking. When this happens, they become tense, upset, and feel negative. As they practice holding on to negative thoughts, they increase their ability to be angry and upset. With practice, they improve their ability to become discontented, so they get upset faster and stay upset longer. They reach a point where they feel negative even though they are thinking about something that's positive and uplifting. Negative feelings do not easily follow positive thoughts. Once we have a negative feeling, it's difficult to get rid of. Negative feelings can also persist for long periods of time. They are destructive to our health and social relationships. In fact, we are punished in many ways when we hold on to negative thinking habits. We are punished because we lose our emotional control. We are punished because negative emotions will automatically occur and dominate us. Negative thinking habits will also cause many kinds of illnesses, such as headaches, nervousness, and ulcers. Surgery or medicines cannot cure an illness that keeps occurring because of negative thinking. Nutritious foods, physical exercise, or doctors cannot save us from ourselves if we choose to hold on to negative thoughts. The only way to cure an illness that is caused by negative thinking is to eliminate the cause of the illness, and that can be done when we stop holding on to negative thinking habits and start holding on to positive thinking habits. This is why it's so important to constantly invest in positive thinking and keep in touch with each moment and interpret each moment in a positive way. Then you will have positive emotions, and positive emotions are controllable. With positive emotions, you can determine what you want to mentally hold on to, and with positive emotions, you will improve your mental, physical, and emotional well-being. People often associate emotions with external events. They think that when nothing is happening, that life is dull and uninteresting. And in order to emotionally have fun, it's necessary to become involved with something that is active and exciting. So they totally rely on activities to satisfy their emotional needs. And when nothing is happening, they become emotionally depressed, sad, or bored. However, silence or solitude are not our natural enemies. Some of the greatest inventors, scientists, humanitarians, spiritual leaders, philosophers, and artists found solitude to be fun, exciting, productive, and enjoyable. Those who are wise have realized that an uneventful moment can be dynamic, interesting, and enjoyable. So if we feel that life is boring, dull, and uninteresting at any moment, It's our own fault because we have created a negative relationship with silence and solitude due to our own thinking. Because of this, we have hindered our emotional growth. External events, other people, or uneventful moments do not determine our emotions. We determine our emotional qualities, and our emotional potential is unlimited. We can't develop nervousness or ulcers in one day. It takes time and practice. We have to earn an ulcer. We have to work hard to hurt ourselves and become emotionally upset, chronically sick, or depressed all the time. Likewise, we can't experience rapture or emotional contentment in several hours. It takes time and practice to experience these emotional qualities. That's why there are many people who haven't experienced rapture or have peace of mind in their daily lives. The way we choose to live determines our emotional development. The way that we live becomes our emotional quality. And if we live in such a way that our emotional quality continually improves, we will live with more joy and see with more insight. And if we live in such a way that our emotional quality of being is negative, then we lose happiness and insight. Now imagine an emotional scale with positive numbers on one end of the scale and negative numbers on the other end. Our emotions move on this scale, and we have the freedom to go as far on the scale as we want in a negative direction or a positive direction. At one end of the emotional scale, we have the negative emotions that can cause ulcers, nervousness, depression, and fear. On the other end of the scale, we have positive emotions that can move us into bliss, rapture, or peace of mind. As we move toward the positive end of the emotional scale, we are gaining more emotional stability. Our concentration improves, and our mind becomes calm. We are less disturbed by things that happen. If we move far enough toward the positive end of the scale, we are emotionally protected against problems and threats because we live without fear and worry, and we are not bothered with anger or self-doubt anymore. So it's to our advantage to move toward the positive end of the emotional scale, and the only way that we can move toward the positive end of the emotional scale is to mold a lifestyle that will move us in a positive emotional direction. Unlike the other animals, people have to create their own lifestyle and determine their emotional qualities. Let's compare ourselves with the other animals. When a wild animal is born, it has natural basic instincts that dominate and guide it through life. A bird will be able to build a nest and migrate. A beaver will be able to build a dam and to swim. An ant will work in harmony with the other ants. A bee will work in harmony with the other bees. The ability of these animals and insects are remarkable, but they are limited in what they can do. In other words, we know approximately what they can do and what they cannot do because they live a fixed lifestyle. But as humans, we don't live a fixed lifestyle, so we have to create our own lifestyle, and it's our lifestyle that will determine our emotional growth. And we are not dominated by our basic instincts like the other animals are, but we have basic instincts, and if we don't learn how to use our basic instincts to our advantage, then we will be burdened by them. We will be emotionally hurting ourselves. So we don't have a choice. We have to create a lifestyle and deal with our basic instincts. If we create a lifestyle that is not in harmony with our positive instincts, then we will be moving in a negative direction on the emotional scale. So we will have emotional problems. If our lifestyle is in harmony with our positive instincts, then we are moving in a positive direction and we will have unlimited joy and mental contentment. So in order to move toward the positive end of the emotional scale and win the battle for our emotions, we must cultivate a lifestyle that's in harmony with our positive instincts. Then we can live in harmony with events, upgrade our emotional qualities throughout our entire life, and experience a deeper quality of mental contentment and wisdom. This is how you can win your emotional battle and improve your insights. Each of us have a self-preservation instinct. This is the part of us that is concerned about our private needs and our personal safety. And when this instinct is overdeveloped, it can lead to pure selfishness and disregard for other people's rights. When this happens, we live with chronic discontentment and we become emotionally agitated and anxious. When we are totally involved with serving ourselves, unhappiness and discontentment will become our servants. So the self-preservation instinct will move us toward the negative end of the emotional scale. Opposite to the self-preservation instinct is the altruistic instinct. This is the part of us that is giving and caring. This is the part of us that wants a better future for our children, better laws, a better society, and world peace. We develop the altruistic instinct by giving and helping others. When we are involved with activities and actions that are altruistic, we feel emotionally contented because we energize our system with pleasurable chemicals such as endorphins. Our actions and thoughts are then being used to chemically inspire and improve our health and emotions. This is why benevolent actions are satisfying to our mind and body. By being altruistic, we cultivate a higher level of awareness and live more purposeful. So we have an altruistic instinct and a self-preservation instinct, and between these two instincts is the battle for our emotions. When the self-preservation instinct is of primary importance, it can lead to pure savagery and personal chronic dissatisfaction with life. We move in a negative direction with our emotions and acquire ulcers, frustration, nervousness, and worry for ourselves. And when the altruistic instinct is of primary importance, then this can lead to personal enlightenment and the ideal society. Then, as we emotionally move in a positive direction, we improve our mental and physical health and improve our ability to see with insight. Our decisions are of a higher caliber. So in order to win the battle for your emotions, be altruistic. Continually become more ethical, loving, and positive. This is the best thing that you can do for yourself and others. So the way that you are involved with activities will determine your emotional qualities. Your actions, movements, posture, and attitude at each moment affect your emotional growth. Every activity has its own emotional value. Every good deed finds its proper reward, because you strengthen your emotional qualities with good deeds and actions. And every wrong deed is properly punished because you will be subtracting from yourself with negative actions and attitudes. Regardless of the reason for your anger, irritation, aggression, or inclination to hurt others, you are hurting yourself. So it's wise to be altruistic, to be benevolent, and make every action or deed count in such a way that you may add to yourself in a more beneficial way. Then, in every aspect of your life, you can increase your emotional potential and gain in perfection, truth, and personal worth. When you are altruistic, you do not have to use force to win. When you are altruistic, adversity is never emotionally painful. So if you have serious problems, you are already emotionally protected from sorrow and worries. The greatest philosophers, humanitarians, and spiritual leaders throughout history chose to be altruistic. They chose to be ethical, kind, and sincere because they knew that these qualities represented reality. They knew that these qualities represented success and happiness. They knew that people are always training their emotions with their thoughts and actions. They discovered that the human emotional potential was unlimited, and that people can multiply their fears and hostilities and develop frustrations as they move toward the negative end of the emotional scale. Or they can multiply their enthusiasm and love and find rapture in addition to experiencing deeper insights and wisdom as they move toward the positive end of the emotional scale. So it's not what happens to you that determines your emotional quality of life. It's how you are multiplying your values and beliefs that determine your emotional quality of life. So be aware of how you are using your human equation and mentally hold on to positive values such as tolerance, compassion, and empathy so that you will become more altruistic, more ethical, more loving, and kind-hearted. Then you will be free from anger, frustration, worry, anxiety, and fear. And you will continually improve your emotional quality of life and see with more insight.